see if our signal is strong. You can't stop the signal. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see.
Make sure that's muted. Make sure that's Is this really episode 149?
Yes, it is.
Holy shit.
We're getting old. 150 is actually I'm gonna talk about it on the show. I know I was supposed to do Kung Fu Heroes next week, but calling an audible. I'm gonna be doing Castlevania Bloodlines next week.
It does start October.
Yeah, because I've been playing the Genesis pretty hardcore, and Bloodlines is freaking awesome. I've been playing the shit out of that game.
Sweet.
All right, well, our signal seems to be good, and you might have to keep an eye on the chat room tonight. So,
yeah, that's fine. All right, let me post this on the Facebook. We are...
Close that out.
Live.
One less tab open.
Derek reviews Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast.
2 viewers already. Hi, you guys. Glad you could join us this evening. We are here to entertain you.
Are you not entertained? I'm going to share this on my page. And then I will tweet it.
All right. I tagged you in it, so all you got to do is retweet it.
Cool.
And when you're ready to go, I will hit record. Might want to record on your side, too, just in case Google Chrome decides to take a dump.
Yeah, that's... I'm going to record it every week from, on my end, just in case. All right, let me mute my phone.
Oh, yeah, I need
People
to do that,
don't call me.
Glad you said that. I always forget. All right,
I normally do, too. All right, as soon as you finish your countdown, I'll start rolling.
Right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Do you like this show and you want to help support us? Do you want us to stay ad-free? Do you want extra episodes every month? Of course you do. Well, head over to patreon.com/nerdcaveretro and become a Patreon supporter of this very show. Greetings, programs, and welcome back to another edition of the Nerd Cave Retro Show. My name is Jason Robbins.
And my name is Derek Diamond.
So it's been a pretty cool week. I picked up the Sega Genesis Mini the other night, and I've been playing the hell out of it. And how has your week been?
It's been good. Kind of echo what you did. We talked last week about how the Genesis Mini and the Link's Awakening remake were coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I downloaded the Link's Awakening remake, and I've very much been enjoying it. It still has the same charm of the original game, but the new animation is really growing on me. The music's fantastic. I'm about a third of the way through it, and it's been a lot of fun.
I cannot
wait
to
very
play
much
it.
Enjoyed it.
Man, I really am trying to wait until the Christmas holidays because that's going to be my holiday game to play. But man, it's so hard to wait. Like, I want it so badly. I see it on the store every time I go play my Switch. I see it, when I go to Walmart or when I go to GameStop, which I went to GameStop the other night to specifically get the Sega Genesis. And I walked in and I see Link's Awakening like on the wall. immediately to my right, and I'm like, hmm.
It makes the decision tough.
It does, man. So I was like, nope, nope, nope. I had to put on blinders and go to the counter and pick up my Sega Genesis. And I'm glad I did, because as soon as I got home that night, man, I started playing Sonic Spinball, which is really, really fun. And played a little bit of Sonic 2, and then immediately jumped after that to Castlevania Bloodlines. And I wanted to tell everybody, I know I said I was going to do Kung Fu Heroes next week, but next week marks the beginning of October, and we always do Halloween Horror Month, and we do horror games, or, like horror themed games or something scary. So I'm going to actually do Castlevania Bloodlines for my next review, and I'm going to save Kung Fu Heroes till November.
Which I think is a good idea. The next show we do will be on October 1st, or we'll be recording it on October 1st. So it's the official kickoff of the month, and I still have no clue what I'm going to do for any of my horror-themed games. I've got a little bit of time to figure that out, but
Yeah.
we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
I don't know. I might have to look, because is there anything on the Nintendo 64 that could be considered a horror game? Or
not that I've played before.
actually,
I don't think.
What if we asked the patrons for some suggestions for you? Because I'm doing Castlevania month. I'm doing Bloodlines, and then I'm doing Castlevania 2 for October.
Yeah, because let's see, if I pull up October, you'll be doing the 1st and the 15th. I'll be doing the 8th and the 22nd. And then the 29th is when we're releasing the Halloween movie reviews.
Yes.
So I might do that. After we record, I might post on the Patreon and ask the listeners or the patrons what they think would be good games.
I would like for you to do. I mean, this is just my suggestion. You know how much I love the Resident Evil games. Resident Evil 4 is really good. And it's available on the Switch now, or you can get it for the GameCube. I think it's like maybe $20-25 on the Nintendo Switch, but that's a really good game. So if you like survival horror games, that's probably one of the best Resident Evil games you can get.
And I've only briefly played the original Resident Evil. I haven't played any of the other ones, so
I think you would enjoy.
That wouldn't be a terrible idea.
Not a bad idea. Throw that one up there and see what people think.
Yeah.
I like that. But yeah, man,
that's a good idea.
I've been playing the Genesis like crazy, and been playing Bloodlines, and like that is such a good game. And was that the one that was only released in Japan? I mean, we'll cover that next week, but I'm not sure that actually came out in the United States, did it?
I want to say you're right. I don't quote me on that.
Yeah,
but
same here. We'll find out next week when I do my research.
Yeah.
But man, that game's fun. It's almost like a remake of the original Castlevania. Like a lot of the stages are the same, a lot of the enemies are the same, but it's so smooth. Yeah. And the one thing I noticed about the Sega Genesis, it doesn't quite have that bright color palette that the Super Nintendo had, but man, some of the games they put on, I kind of tasted a lot of the different games, just a little bit here and there. I played some Road Rash 2. I played a little bit of Golden Axe, and what was some of the other ones? I played a couple other different games on there. Man, they put a really good selection of games on the Mini, and I'm quite happy with my purchase. So if you're on the fence about getting one, I would suggest go ahead and picking one up, because I've been happy with it ever since I bought it.
I'm excited to get it. I'll actually be getting some extra money from some freelance jobs I've been working over the last couple of weeks. So
yeah,
once that money comes in, I will splurge on the Genesis Mini and give my thoughts on it.
My only complaint is I'm not a fan of the Genesis controller. I don't like the 3-button configuration. Yeah. But they are doing. Walmart has the you can buy separate controllers for it that are actually the 6-button controllers. So I'm kind of interested about maybe picking one of those up in the next month or so and see how that works. because I feel like it needs to have more buttons. I don't know, because I'm so used to the Super Nintendo. I'm not used to not having shoulder buttons and the bumpers and like the extra buttons. It takes a little getting used to, because like I said, we weren't Genesis kids, so this is kind of our first foray really into the Genesis.
Well, I can even remember back when I played the Sonic games for the Genesis. I wasn't a fan of the controller back then, but no, that's interesting.
But yeah, I mean, it's still worth the money to me. I've been really enjoying it. No buyer's remorse here at all.
Well, it's good that we both have our purchases we bought this past week have been, we've been fans of.
Oh yeah,
which is good.
I still want to get Link's Awakening. It's like it's killing me that I don't have it. But I've got enough to play, so I can hold off for a little while. But I'm ready to jump in. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say the holidays will be here before you know it.
Oh yeah, we're what, like
plenty of time.
2 months away from December, so we're not far at all.
We're practically in October.
I know,
which is crazy
there
to think about.
Eek. It's almost rent time. Next check's going to rent. I hate it.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to go into the news. How about you?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Actually, Derek, I'm going to let you take this first one.
Oh, you're too kind.
Oh, yeah.
So the first story comes to us from NintendoLife.com. Because everyone demanded it, especially you and I. The Wizard is getting a 30th anniversary Blu-ray release. When The Wizard made its original debut in cinemas, it was widely panned by critics for being nothing more than a lengthy commercial for Nintendo and Universal Studios. Despite this, it still managed to develop a cult following over the years. Now, as we near the film's 30th anniversary, the movie's director, Todd Holland, has revealed a special Blu-ray is in the works and will arrive next February. And it's all thanks to the loyal fans for repeatedly screaming at Universal to give the movie some respect. And he actually posted a video on his Instagram about, breaking the news. And I know this is a movie that, you and I hold in a very dear place. It's been a while since I told the story, but I can remember the old video store that used to be in the town I grew up in. They had this movie, and I was the only one who would ever rent it. And I would make my mom, rent it for me at least every couple of weeks. And eventually they just let us buy it.
Yeah.
Because I was literally the only one who would have any interest in watching it.
That's so awesome. Dude, I remember renting this when I was a kid, and then I don't know if you youngins remember at all, but those of us older folks remember the only way we could have a movie library, because VHS tapes were ridiculously expensive back in the day. We would rent movies, go buy, blank VHS tapes, and then borrow someone's VCR, and you would tape movies, or you would tape them off of HBO or whatever, if you were lucky enough to have HBO. So I remember renting this movie and going to my grandfather's house and borrowing his VCR so I could bring it home, hook the VCRs up, and tape this movie. And I actually taped it in old VHS tapes had 3 settings: 2 hours, 4 hours, and 6 hours. Now, the longer you made the tape go, the less quality it was. This was the one tape that I did it on the 2-hour setting, the SP setting, 2 hours, so I could get the highest possible quality of movie. And I taped this movie. I made my own little label for it and everything. And pardon my language, I fucking wore this fucking tape out. You couldn't even, it was so worn out and washed out by the time, I got old enough to be like, I don't want to watch this movie anymore. You could barely even see what it would, just had scan lines and, looked terrible. But man, I've watched this movie so many times when I was a kid. And then we did our commentary track for this movie, was still one of my favorite episodes we've ever done for this show. So I cannot tell you how excited I am to finally have a Blu-ray HD copy of this movie.
I'm hoping they have some additional footage, because there's a link to another article on this one where they did an in-depth review, and they also did an interview with Todd Holland, the director. Apparently, there's over 2 hours of unused footage from the
Wow.
movie, including an alternate opening. So I'm hoping that that is on the Blu-ray.
I'm hoping there's lots of extras on the Blu-ray, making of interviews with the cast, like today, like looking
Yeah.
back on the movie. I would just love like anything they can give me on this Blu-ray. I want.
It'd be really cool if Nintendo actually did a little feature about like the making of Mario Brothers 3 and how it tied into this movie, because a little known fact about it is that this was the first time anyone saw anything about Mario Brothers 3. It made its debut in this
Hmm.
film.
Oh, what an awesome reveal! It still gives me goosebumps when I watch this today. I'm 42 years old, and this movie still gives me goosebumps when the thing goes up and it's Super Mario Brothers 3. I'm just like, I want to go play Super Mario Brothers 3 right now.
Well, another side note about this is like growing up watching this, I didn't know anyone else who had watched it or had even heard of it
I didn't either.
until I brought it up to you, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I love that movie." And I'm
I
like, "What?
was
Someone else has seen it?"
I know I was such a Nintendo geek when I was a kid. Like I loved everything Nintendo, man. Like I had my Nintendo Power subscription, loved this movie, read everything I could about every Nintendo game there was, and then to just have an entire movie dedicated to Nintendo was just I was that perfect demographic for this movie.
And as an additional note, I think that Todd Holland should appear on the Derek Diamond Experience.
Yes, I think so too.
Funny enough, I actually looked up his IMDb page today, and normally it is a little secret to how I get some of my interviews. Is I have a subscription to IMDb Pro, and through that I can find the contacts for like publicists or agents, and then I reach out to them. But for him, there wasn't really anything.
Yeah.
So it might be one of those things that I have to just tweet at him directly and see if he says anything.
Oh yeah. That'd
I
be
think if
awesome
I
though.
explain, like how big of a fan I was of this movie, that I think he might do it.
Just send him our commentary track and tell him to listen to it.
I still remember driving to your house that day, and then we just sat in front of your TV with my little recorder and two microphones,
Hmm. That was
and
fun.
we watched it.
That was a
Yeah,
good day.
it's still top 3 favorite episode for me, was that commentary.
Oh yeah, I don't remember which episode it is. It's an early episode, so if you haven't listened to it, just go back into the archives. It's like episode 12 or something like that. It's really early on in the show.
Yeah, it's easily within like the first 6 months of us doing the show. I'm actually curious about that. I'm going to look that up really quick.
You go ahead and look that up, and I'll go into the next story.
Cool.
This one comes from tweaktown.com. GameStop stores are turning into retro gaming cafes. GameStop stores are getting big redesigns, including couches and retro gaming stations. Let's see. After years of failing sales and a crippling $500 million loss in 2018, GameStop is making big changes to its business. The company is restructuring its storefronts into gaming cafes with retro gaming, LAN play, and modern console gaming to keep customers engaged. To pay for all this, GameStop is closing as many as 200 stores across the globe to fund these new expenditures. I don't know if this might be too little too late, but I don't know. I don't know if GameStop could turn it around at this point.
It's not a bad idea.
It's
I'll
not.
give them that. But the thing is that GameStop, and I know you've been praising them the last couple of months, but I know GameStop has a horrible reputation with, because a lot of GameStops I've been to don't have the greatest customer service,
Yeah.
which is one thing. But then when you want to trade in games to get store credit and you get pennies for it,
Yeah.
even if you take in like a console, you don't get really all that much for it. I don't know. In theory, it's a good idea, but I don't see myself going to hang out at a GameStop. And I mean, what are they going to offer? Are they going to have, is it going to be like a combination of a GameStop and a coffee shop? Are they going to have a little coffee bar, or is it just going to be a lounge area where you can play games?
I mean, I think it's just a lounge area, but I don't know. I mean, I'd be willing to try it out to go up there with some friends, play some old consoles, but I've got everything. I got all that stuff here at my house that I can do that. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm willing to go to a place to do that unless they have something else, like you said, like a coffee bar or something in there. Or I don't know. I just, everything is fast moving towards digital download. I'm the type of person, I still like to have physical discs or, physical media. Like I prefer to own physical copies of like Switch games or, PlayStation 4. I have a lot of games that are digital download, like a lot of indie games and stuff like that. But for like the big AAA stuff, like the Nintendo, first party games, I want to own like the actual physical copies of them. But I can do that anywhere. I can do that at Walmart, Target. I don't have to go to GameStop. Now, like you said, I have had some good experiences with GameStop in the last couple of months. But if it goes away, it's not going to hurt me all that much. I mean, I can still get everything that I want to get at Walmart or Target.
Well, and you kind of hit, you touched on this subject that with me personally, it takes me a lot now to get me to leave my house.
Yeah.
I really don't even like going out to buy like groceries, to be honest.
You and me both.
Well, and even with games, I'll go to video game trading posts, here in town to go look at retro games because they're really friendly, their prices are good, and it's a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
But with GameStop, really with any new games, I'll just download them onto my Switch.
Yeah, I mean,
if it's a game that like I really like, if it's a Breath of the Wild or a Mario Odyssey, I'll buy a physical copy, but I haven't bought a physical copy for something in a while. Like with Link's Awakening, I just downloaded it for the Switch. I did the same thing with Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just in this day and age where more and more people sit at home, it's going to be tough to pull people in by doing the gaming cafe or lounge aspect of your store. Again, it's a good idea. I just don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't think so. I give GameStop another 5 years at best before they're forced to just completely close. And that sucks. I hate it for them. But like even, my local retro gaming store, the Play and Talk, like it's not just a retro gaming store. I mean, it's a retro gaming store, but they also have this whole other section that's like candy and like scented candles and things like that. Like it's not just a retro gaming store. So even they're reliant on other things to sell. And, GameStop's been doing that the past few years, trying to offer things like, Think Geek type stuff, toys and t-shirts and all that stuff. But I just don't think it's enough, especially with the reputation that they've given themselves the last probably 10 years. It's just, I don't think they're going to be able to get past that.
And it's a shame because I've got good memories with GameStop. I still remember going to the midnight releases of games like Halo Reach, Skyrim, and games like that. I remember waiting in line, like 7 or 8 friends would go, and we would just hang out that night.
Yeah.
And then we would get the game, go back to someone's house, and then we would play until like the early hours of the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think those days are slowly going away.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. Before I move on to our last story, so our Wizard commentary track, do you want to take a stab at the episode number and when it aired?
I'm going to say episode 16. Let's see. It had to be in December. I think it was in December of 2015.
You're close. It was episode 20.
Oh.
And it aired December 28th, 2016.
Ooh, I knew I had the year wrong.
I remembered that because I was on Christmas break.
That's
so
right.
That's how I was able to just go over on. I think we did it on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. It was during the week.
Yeah, I think it was during my Christmas holiday too.
Yeah.
So we did it like on some weird random weekday.
Yeah, one of the few times that it actually worked out.
Yeah.
But our last story, this is a cool one. This is from Engadget.com. On Nintendo's 130th birthday, here are 5 books about its history. This was written yesterday, September 23rd. Today is Nintendo's 130th birthday. No, that's not a typo. I thought the same thing too. I was like, holy crap. Because I remember the whole trading card aspect of
Yeah.
it, or playing cards.
You know
But
what sucks is I remember them celebrating their 100th birthday. Yeah,
let's
I'm
see.
old.
The company's been around since before video games or even televisions. It started way back in 1883 making Hanafuda, which is a type of playing card with flowers on it. In fact, the company still makes them. You can even buy a set with Mario's face on the cards. That'd be a
That's
pretty cool
awesome.
collector's item.
Yeah, it would. Those are cool looking cards. I like that little case they come with too.
Yeah, I do too. But that's not all the company's done in over a century of existence. Did you know the company used to make toys in the 60s and 70s, or even owned this? Oh my God, a
A
love
love
hotel.
hotel? What is a love hotel? Is that what I think it is?
Welcome to the Hotel of Love, brought to you by Nintendo.
Woohoo!
Oh geez, we could get into so many jokes.
Yeah,
with
we're
that.
just gonna slowly
Yeah.
walk past that.
Yeah. All I'll say is wow. And
Wow.
yes, Nintendo's been making video games for more than 40 years now. From the Color TV Game 6 to last week's Switch Lite, it has a pretty storied history in gaming, and you can learn all about that and more through the less interactive but still entertaining realm of books. And it lists 5 different books about the history of Nintendo, and I'll just list them off really quick. There's Super Mario: How Nintendo Conquered America by Jeff Ryan.
That actually looks pretty good. I actually want to read that one.
That art is awesome.
I know that
It's
book
simple,
cover's
but I love
cool.
it. It was published in 2011 with an update in 2012.
Oh, cool.
So there's nothing about the Switch in it.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. There's Console Wars by Blake Harris. The Game Console by Evan Amos. 33 and a third, Koji Kondo's Super Mario Brothers soundtrack. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Because Koji Kondo's made some great music for Nintendo. Not just Mario, but he did the Zelda games as well. And Tetris by Box Brown. So if you're a reader, there's links to Amazon for all of these books, and they're all relatively cheap. You know, the last 2 I listed are $10. The Game Console is $15. Console Wars is $12, and Super Mario: How Nintendo Conquered America is only $13.
I think I might actually pick that up this week. That looks like a pretty good book to read. I love reading about Nintendo's history, and especially want to read about the '80s era. I love it all.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, I haven't read a good book in a while, so I might, if there's an audio version of that, I might get that. Because I've still got quite a few credits that I haven't used yet.
Speaking of Tetris, I do not like the Sega Genesis version of Tetris. I like the Nintendo version much better.
Oh, I forgot Tetris was even on the Genesis.
Yeah, they have it on the Mini, and I played it a little bit, and I was like, nah, I don't really like this version of it.
There's an updated version called Tetris 99 that's on the Switch that is really fun.
I couldn't get into it because I kept getting my ass kicked, and I didn't know how to play it. So I just gave up.
That sounds like me and Cuphead.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I got back on for like a week. So I'm going to get back on it in the next couple of days.
There's one boss that I just get so close to beating every time, and it's like as they're about to die, I get hit, and then I'm done. And then I just get so frustrated that I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this game.
Which boss?
The one that transforms into a moon
Moon.
during its last phase.
I don't think I made that one yet. I just got past the two guys, the two big frogs on the boat, and then I went and what was the next stage I went to? I opened up the mausoleum, and then I went to the next stage, which was I think no, did I beat that stage? The one inside the tree. And then I went to another. I don't remember which stage I stopped on, but I was like, "Yeah, I'm done for now. I'm gonna go back in the next few days." That game is hard,
Yeah,
man.
it really is. Beautiful game, though.
Beautiful game, but Jesus Christ, I'm too old for that shit. Man, I'm cussing up a
Right?
storm tonight. We're gonna have to put on the the explicit tag.
We're earning our red E tonight.
Yes, we are. And on that note, we're moving into this month in video game history. On September 20th of 1984, Elite, an influential wireframe 3D space trading game offering a then unique open-ended design, is published by Acorn Soft. And I do not remember Acorn Soft at all, so they must have not been around too much longer than that.
Well, I mean, if this game's called Elite, then it has to be good, right?
It's got to be.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, the name like Elite, it's got to be good.
the one screen cap that they have reminds me of like what could be an early development of what became Star Fox
Yeah,
for
I
Super
can see
Nintendo.
that. It does say
The
that
the
it was
wireframing reminds me of that.
said it was hugely influential, serving as a model for other games including Wing Commander, Grand Theft Auto, EVE Online, Freelancer, and No Man's Sky.
Huh.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. September 20th of 1985, Namco releases Motos.
Motos. Oh, that is a cool looking. That's some cool looking game art.
Yeah.
Very
I like that
Tron.
logo a lot.
Yeah, I do too. Very Tronish.
Yeah. Let's see. It says here the player must take control of the eponymous Motos, a bumper car whose goal is to force enemies over the edge of the playfield by bumping up against them. However, all the enemies are capable of doing exactly the same thing to it. Power parts and jump parts can also be collected during the 62 rounds. That's a lot. Which will give Motos extra bumping power and the ability to jump over gaps in the playfield.
Last time it was re-released was in 2008 for the Xbox 360.
I'm not gonna lie, I've not heard of this game.
I think I have, but it's not ringing too much of a bell.
Yeah.
Also on September 20th of 1986, man, September 20th was a busy day.
Yeah.
Sega releases the Outrun racing game. Man, I love me some Outrun back in the day.
It's weird because I feel like every week during September we've talked about some type of racing game that was released in the 80s.
Oh, racing games were just like dime a dozen, man. But there was some that really stood out, and Outrun was one of those games because it was. I mean, you can look at the cabinet version of it if you scroll down a little bit. That's a cool looking cabinet, man. And the game itself is not so much like a battle type of game. It's more just kind of, get to the finish line, get through the courses, get through the track, and I don't know, it's just kind of a laid back racing game, and that's what I liked about it.
Yeah. In September of 1993, Sonic CD is released for the Sega CD. It features the first appearance of Amy Rose and Metal Sonic to the Sonic the Hedgehog series. This was
metal Sonic.
This was a big deal back then because this was probably space-wise the biggest Sonic game that was ever released, because in addition to your normal zones, you had past and future versions that you could travel to. And then also introducing, Metal Sonic, who's a really popular character in the Sonic universe.
Metal Sonic.
This is one that I've never beaten, and plus it's got a cool little anime-style intro to it with, I believe, the first ever... No, I think there was a vocal song for Sonic 2 or 3 during the end credits, but one of the first vocal tracks to be used in a Sonic game, which more of those play into what I will be reviewing this evening.
I'm going to be doing that for days now. Metal Sonic. Man, 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 man.
Sounds like something from Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah, that's what I got it from. September 27th of 1996, Meridian 59 is released for Windows. It was one of the first MMORPGs. I do not remember this game at all.
I wonder if it was the sequel to Meridian 58.
Possibly. Let's see.
Bad joke, I'm sorry.
One of the longest running original online role-playing games. The development team included John Hankey, who later founded Niantic and co-developed Google Earth and Pokemon Go.
Both very big deals today.
Absolutely. They don't give you any screenshots.
Mm-mm.
That's stupid.
No, it's crazy to think that MMOs started, that like way back then.
Oh,
because
yeah.
when I think of MMOs, I associate that with like the mid to late 2000s.
Yeah, because I didn't even actually start playing MMOs until City of Heroes, roughly 2000, I'd say 2004-ish, somewhere around there. I started playing City of Heroes, played that for a few years, and then moved on to World of Warcraft and Lord of the Rings Online and City of Villains. Man, I miss those games. We need to have Joey Image on here and let's do a whole retrospective on City of Heroes and City of Villains.
I'd be down with that.
Oh man, I love those games. Somebody needs to re-release those games. Like I still have the boxes for my City of Heroes and City of Villains. I love those games so damn much.
Any episode with Joey Image is the best episode.
Yeah.
And to close us out for this month in video game history, on September 22nd, 1999, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is released for the PlayStation.
I remember me and my roommate at the time. This was one of the times where he had the PlayStation. Actually, a PlayStation, did he have a PlayStation 2 at the time? No, just a regular PlayStation. And man, we went and got this at like midnight from Walmart, and we played the hell out of this game that night. And